everybody. Just signing on to do some two little projects. The first one to kind of just show you how quickly easy, well, pretty much both just show you how quick and easy they are. Let me go ahead and refresh on all this. I'll give Facebook a minute to send out all the notifications, so if you're catching this on the replay, go ahead and skip ahead about a minute. And then you should be able to see the video. Just make sure that I got it on the right page. And alright, so I do need to tip it up because Facebook does have a delay, so it's hard for me to see. But looks like I do need to tip this up a little bit. So hopefully now my head won't be cut off, or at least completely cut off. Okay, let's see. Alright, so I'm going to take a few there. I think that's going to be better. It's got the little tip top. My head's cut off. That's alright. So, two items that I got that are part of Chalk Stories. So this one is one of the blue one. It's That Dream Was Planted in Your Heart for a Reason. It's just cute, really detailed flowers. I'm actually going to do it on back of one of the house cutouts. So I had done one of the actual house cutout transfers on the house cutout on the side, which is the Home Sweet Home. But you can use both sides, and it's designed not to be a reusable surface, but you can reuse it. You just have to wash it off. And the only way really to make it permanent is if you were to like spray it with like a polyurethane type spray. Otherwise, you can get it off. If anything, you can use a sander on it to make sure that it comes off completely. So I'm gonna do that one in the house, and then I bought some of these off of Amazon to try. They're just like little. This is like an 8x10 wood frame. So I'm just like gonna color it, and then put on one of my other Chalk Stories. So the farm term one was Life is Better in the Country. That one's snuck in there. Don't need that one. So I'm just gonna do these two, and figure out what I want to put on this to like color it. I just want to give it a little bit of color so that will pop out a little bit. What do I got down here? Well, I always have my black and white, but I could do maybe like a little bit more of like a country kind of green. And then grab out one of my little brushes. Ooh, this was a little 10-pack I picked up at Walmart for like $2 or something. And at Dollar Tree, you can get a pack of like 6 of these for like $1. So it comes out to like 10, 20 cents, not less than 20 cents each. And then I figured out you can actually cut them if you wanted to. I just leave them and kind of like use it till it gets full. The way the plastic is once the paint dries, it comes off. It comes off anyways. So, or I could use the orange. I'm a little obsessed with orange. I use orange a lot. Okay, so I'm just gonna go ahead and put this right on. And a little bit of dry paint around the edge. With this, it's pretty easy. When you're doing a bigger surface, just plop some on and then spread it around. So I may not even need that tray. But you can always mix colors, and hopefully I didn't put too much on here. I'll find out. The thing I like about the chalk paint, so I get the Waverly chalk paint. I haven't really tried the folk art kind, but it tends to like just go on one coat. One coat, you're good to go. So you'll see it once I get done this one coat. It's gonna have the board completely covered, and I'm not gonna need to go over it again and again and again. If you're using some of the acrylic stuff, I know some of the stuff the Dollar Tree has. I haven't used all the different kinds they have, but the acrylic ones and stuff that I've gotten, it just, I have to do layer after layer after layer, and I got better things to do than sit around and paint something over and over when I can just get this for like $1.10 or $1.15 at Walmart. Use a little bit of it, which covers this whole 8x10 surface. And I did put too much paint on, but I'm stretching it out. So I'm going to set this to the side to dry while I do that smaller house cutout. And this dries fairly quickly, so it should be nice and dry by the time I get back. And I'm just painting the top of it for now. And I can decide afterwards if I want to go through and do the sides and the bottom. Probably will. Maybe just see how much I got. I'm just going to cover the edges a little bit now. Just want to use up what's on the brush. Right. With surfaces like this too, and I didn't think of it this time, but you can actually take painter's tape off the edge and then just paint the inside, and then when you take the tape off, it kind of looks like a natural border around it. I keep forgetting to try that. I'm going to do that with one of my porch leaners for the welcome. All right, so this is obviously wet, and the green I'm using is called Scallion. And like I said, they're like $1.15, $1.20, something like that at Walmart for just the little small jars, and a little goes quite a long way. All right, so far I didn't need this, so I'm just going to set it to the side in my little tray here. Right. And the License But in the Country is the one that's going to go on it. So this one, grab my little, so an old washcloth is really all you need for the little 5x7 ones. I'm just going to use my fuzz cloth. You can get a fuzz cloth. It's about $10, but it's designed on this side. It's like a French terry, so that when you to pick up lint to dull the transfer. This side is designed more as a drying or lay your transfers out, cleaning them on it. So it's more of like a microfiber on this side, where this is like a French terry. And it's got a little hook so you can hang it up. It's pretty much the perfect size for up to the seed transfers. So depending on what you want, that's another option. And there are different toolkits and stuff that club members can get discounts on. And then you can always check on my VIP group to see what's in stock. Because if something is, if I'm doing a reorder or something, I might put a deal in there or something if I'm getting too much in stock, or you just have to check in there to see. Planted. So usually I will label the back of my transfers. I'm trying to get better about that. This is the planted A size one. The back of the transfer is matte, whereas when I pull up the transfer itself, it's backer. Matte on one side, glossy on the other. This sticks on the glossy side. It's not going to completely kill it if you put it on the matte side, but it's not going to help it last longer. It's a reusable transfer, so you can reuse them like, I said on average like 10 times, but I have ones that I've used well over 20 times. And then just fuzz it up until you still feels pretty sticky. This is the first time I've used this one, so usually to give it a couple extra fuzzes, like 5 or 6, the first time that you do it. And I don't know if you can see that it picked up lint off of the towel. See, and it's a silkscreen transfer, so I can't stick my fingers through it. There's a whole mesh lining in there preventing that. And for the house, this one is, it just feels smooth, but you can wax it if you want. You don't have to. Completely up to you. Waxing it protects the surface, the natural paint that comes on it, and the wood, but these are really good solid heavy ones. So I don't usually worry about it too much. And this one should fit right perfectly on the house. And I pretty much just try to eyeball it. Make sure I've got about the same amount of room on each side. If you put it down and look at it and it's not where you want it, pull it up and do it again until you get it where you want. And smooth it out, because you want to make sure you don't have any air bubbles in there. Air bubbles, when you're scraping across with your squeegee and the paste, can make it slide the chalk paste underneath through the silk screen underneath the transfer to an area you don't want. It's water-based, so it's easy to clean up and fix, but it's just easier to do it the first time the right way. So I'm gonna grab different colors. Since it's a small one, I've got green. Color, do my flowers in, anybody? my chalk. For those who didn't see that I did the truck transfer the other day. I actually stained it. It's a white chalk. This is another one of the cutouts. But I stained it black before I did it with actually board stain. So I want the flowers to be nice and bright. So I'm going to use the coral. And then, hope that doesn't fall. And I'm going to use papaya for the lettering. Because their colors are blue. It's either papaya or blue. I'm slightly obsessed with my blue shimmer now. This looks really good. For those who saw the welcome leaner that I did last night with all the words on it, blue was one of the colors that this new lakeshore that I just got, because it finally restocked. It's just like a nice sea sky blue. I'm going to use that one for the letters. Alright. So maybe I won't use the papaya, but I'll keep it there just in case I decide to use it. So some of these are, the green is the old paste formula, the rest are all new paste formulas. My green, every time I think that it's about ready to be replaced, because I've got another jar ready to go. But then a little goes such a long way. I've got with my green, I've got only that much left, but that's probably going to be 5 or 6 projects at least before I get down to the very bottom, in which case I'll probably just scrape it out and put it into the next jar. Okay, so I've got my green, got my coral is kind of like a, in the pink range, so it's more of an orangish pink. And then my lakeshore, which is like the baby blue. And they all should show up nice on the white background. So you do have to take into consideration the color of your background. And I could have colored the house. I could have painted this. I could have painted it green, like I did that. You could do anything you want with them. Some people take a little bit of, they look like tongue depressors, but little pieces of wood, put them on the edge, which hangs over the edge a little bit, which makes it look more like a roof. The house cutouts have little doors and windows that you can add, along with sayings like this one. You have so many different options to play with them. So I am going to use probably mostly my mini squeegee. So I took my mini squeegee and I cut it in half, just because it's easier with these small little areas to get a better grip on it. Alright, so I'm going to start with the flowers first, and then I'm going to do a pull and peel. So I'm going to do the flowers and the leaves, and then I'm going to pull it up and give it 30 seconds or so to dry. And anybody who saw me do the portrait last night saw that I used 7 different colors on it. And you can see the picture on my page. But after about every 2 colors, I did a little pull to give it a chance to start to dry, so that it's pretty much so that the chalk paste doesn't start to dry in the silk screen. As if it does, when you go to pull up the silk screen, the transfer, it'll leave the chalk paste on the transfer and it's not on your board, because if it dries in there, that's what can happen. Okay. So, as you see, I'm using a very little bit of it. But I'll keep my squeegee there just in case I need to go back. Let's see, my green still in good shape. I'm not even going to use all of that I scraped out. I know I won't. But I will be careful when I go next to the pink and hit that area last. Because if I'm going to scrape always scrape your excess back into your jar. But if you're going to do that, you want to make sure that you don't pick up another color on the board when you're using more than one color, because then that will get in your jar and mess up your paste. It's not so bad if you get white in other jars, but if you were to get like black in the white jar or red in the white jar, which I've seen people do when they're not paying attention, they just like drop their little stir sticks in. If that was to happen, it's pain to try to scoop it out and not more or less contaminate it with another color. So I've got my green and pink flowers, so I'm going to pull it up, kind of let them breathe. And this nice flower top of it is something that I can use over and over again on other items. Even if I don't want to use the letters, if I just want the flowers to add an embellishment to, like if I wanted to, I could put it on the Life on the Country one when I do it. So I could actually leave out the leaves down here, and I could always put the flowers in. It kind of just depends on who you're doing it for. It's probably like the flowers are probably a little more girly, whereas the leaves are just more, I don't know, they're both country. So. Hello, feel free to hit like if you're out there. Hey, you're talking about the little mini transfer? It's really detailed. It's really pretty. Like, check that out. Love it. I decided to do it on my house. Alright, so I'm going to set this back down. Just let it fall down there. I'm not going to smooth it down or anything. And I'm going to do the bottom in the blue. And I'm trying to decide if I want to pop any other colors in there. If I want to do like that dream in the pink or not. Yeah, I'll just do the blue. Sometimes I get bored just with one color. Honestly, I could just do white chalk on all blacks, on all any kind of dark surface over and over again. Love it. So if anybody wants to try this or want to purchase anything that I've made, just let me know. Because usually what I will do is, like with these houses, I really like, I'm probably going to want to keep this one on it. But if I get a design that I don't really, okay, this one is definitely staying on the house. So check that out. Love it. So you can use a much more complicated transfer like that with lots of stuff on it, or you can just do a simple one. This was actually two different transfers, a little heart one and a little home sweet home. I'm more likely, I'm definitely keeping that one. So hopefully it's not too much of a glare that you can see that. Pretty little flowers. So the dream was planted in your heart for a reason. And the house cutouts, like the other ones, there's houses, bunnies. The deer are paused right now until the next catalog. There's the truck that I showed you. I feel like I'm forgetting one. Oh, there's the hearts as well. So there's different shapes if you want to do that, and you can do any kind of little design on them. So I love that one. Came out awesome. Right, so I'm going to set this over here to the side. And okay, so I've got my green, and I can see that it's basically, it's dry. There's a couple spots that look like they're wet, but if I wanted a darker coat, I could put a darker coat on it. I just want it to have like a little pop of color on it, so it doesn't have to be perfect or anything. Take my squeegees, toss them in my water bucket. When you're using the old paste formula, if you were to get some, we'll sometimes spray a little extra distilled or bottled water in there, just so that as it's sitting there, any air trapped in the old containers will suck up that moisture and not dry out the chalk paste. Okay. So I am going to start out, I like to, on the rougher surfaces, so this is just a wooden surface, I'm going to actually put some wax on it just to protect my transfer more or less. And I just use paper towel. You can use paper towel, any kind of cloth. The Chalk Couture wax is clear, unscented. And I just do it in sections because it is clear, so it's a little hard to see sometimes where you're putting it or where you have put it. And then I run my hand over it afterwards to make sure that I don't feel any areas are really rough. And actually, when I'm picking up a little bit of the chalk paint when I'm doing it, so that could have potentially come off on the back of my transfer, so this is just helping protect it more. And then the the surface wax pretty much dries quickly, so. There we go. So this doesn't even feel tacky or anything. So I'm do my Life is Better in the Country. And this might have stuff around the edge of it afterwards. If so, then I can always add more embellishments if I wanted. So I've used this one several times, and it's still really sticky, but I am going to fuzz it like, I don't know, 2 or 3 times probably. After I clean them, they just get sticky again. You'll notice like after about 10 or so that the stickiness is fading a little bit, but the better you take care of your transfers, the longer they're going to last. So the cloth, and then I don't have any hangers in the back this one, so it'll go like this. And just trying to, with the light reflecting through the back, it's a little easier to see where the transfer is hanging off the edges. And this should, the board's 8 by 10, the transfer is 8.5 by 11. But it's got extra, as you can see, it's got extra space around the edge, so it makes it perfect for this board. So, I don't know if white's really going to pop enough on that. I think I will try the white. I'll try the white and see how it looks. I'll do like the Life Is. So I just want to make sure that because the background's not too dark, I want to make sure I can see the white and really read the lettering. And I've never really said it, but the squeegees you just clean off. I just run them underwater, rub your hand against them, comes off. Alright, so let's see how this looks. Oh yeah, that looks good. Okay, so it is going to pop. So I'm just going to use white for the top part, and then I'll use a color for the little leaf embellishment at the bottom. I just put on thicker and then scrape off the excess. And then any excess that you still have left on at the end, put it right back in the jar. Ink gets handled a different way, so if you're watching this trying to figure out how to use the ink, don't go what I'm doing here. There's similarities, but for the ink you don't want to put on excess stuff. You want to put on pretty much just what you need and just keep dipping back in your ink jar. Okay. So I've got that, and now I just need to do the little leaves at the bottom. And might as well use my little shimmer splash and see how that looks. The shimmers they're like a really fine glitter in them. And anybody who watched last night, I used it, and it's flat again, and I didn't do anything to it. And you can mix colors together too, so if I wanted a lighter blue glitter, I could mix this with the Shimmer Frost, which is the white glitter, or I could take this and mix it with white off to the side so it doesn't contaminate the stuff in the jar. And then just pull this up and pop this in my water bucket. The purpose of the water bucket just is so that it starts to loosen up the chalk paste, so it keeps it from drying in that silkscreen mesh and makes it easier to clean up afterwards. Alright, so this is a cute little Life is Better in the Country one. So I've got that one that I did in the house in less than 20 minutes, including painting this board. So this one's my favorite. I'm getting better at picking colors. But I might have been able to use the Shimmer Splash, which is like the blue glitter on that one. Let me throw my stuff in the water bucket. And if anybody has any questions or pops on, go ahead and say hi. I'm going to go ahead and clean my transfers since this didn't take me very long. So anybody that wants to hang out and see how to clean them, stick around. Let's put these all back. Why do I have some formulas down below and some up top? These are my old paste formulas, these are my shimmers, and these are all my new formulas. Why? I'm a little picky like that sometimes. Alright, so got that one there. This one will be really easy to hang up. Just put a nail on the wall and hang it because of that backer. Just get a little extra wax there. So this here, and then woo, make sure that doesn't fall. I do have a habit of not being careful until it completely dries. Right. So we'll use the back or the front of your fuzz cloth. It doesn't really matter. Yeah. So I'll take out the small one that I did first. It's been sitting in here. I just kind of like shake it around to help it get off any excess chalk paste. So you can see the bottom, the blue at the bottom pretty much came off. The green is the old paste formula. Sometimes certain colors of that will stick in there. Some of the new paste formula though, you have to like just clean off easy. So sometimes the new paste formula wants to stick in there. Like I can see the coral on the edge of the flowers. So I'm just wiping everything off. As you can see, it's coming clean, not really staining it. But I am going to do a little extra water right here because I can see the edge of the flowers. It looks like it wants to try to stick in there. And that was the first part that I did, so. I'm going to pull it up, and you notice it does put chalk paste under there, but I've washed this several times. And I can still see, I don't know if you can still see, the top of my flowers have a little bit of chalk paste in there, so I'm going to make sure I get that out, or the next time I go to use it, that section may not want to, may look weird because it's blocking some of the silkscreen area. And it's coming right out. So for those who want to see it, I'll clean, and I usually hold it up to the white because the letters are fine and the leaves are fine, just to make sure I don't see any chalk paste in there. And then just set it out like this to dry. 20 minutes or so, 20-30 minutes to be ready to put back on the backer and back in its bag. Alright, and then I just have the one we just did. The sooner you clean it, the more likely it is to be easier to clean. You don't want to leave these sitting in the water for more than a couple hours. What it will do is it will take your transfer and they'll ruin the stickiness on the back. Found that out the hard way. Sometimes I have to learn things the hard way. I was being lazy and didn't take a little transfer out, and the back is now no longer sticky. But there's been a little like using like stucco plaster, where you use the stencil transfer and do it like on a wall or a planner or something. I want to do that, and I got the stuff to do it, but I didn't want to ruin any of my transfers just in case I couldn't get it out afterwards. So since these ones are no longer sticky, I'll use those ones, and hopefully it will work out right. Easy to clean. And the back part, you hear that squeaky? Squeaky is good. Squeaky means it's still sticky. You want to hear the squeak. I'm almost done cleaning them already. The bigger the transfer is, the more likely you are to hear the squeak. Right? So that's all that. Set it off to the side to dry. And then I try to watch, so like in an hour or so, I'll just naturally come back and put the backers back on. If not, my cats I may get up in the morning and they're on the floor. It's not going to hurt them if they stay out overnight or for however long without the backer on it. It's still going to be sticky. But if you have pets who tend to jump up on things and play with things when you're sleeping, it's easier not to do that. For my water bucket, I was using one of the little dish ones from Dollar Tree, but I upgraded it to the oil pan just because it's bigger around. And then to clean up the squeegees, you just wipe them off. And then my little towel will go. And I also use some of these, which are like the dish, go under the dish strainer ones, just because they really absorb the water. And just set the squeegees out on there. Squeegees and stir sticks out on that to dry. And you can also use like a Clorox wipe to clean them off. They're silicone, so they're really easy to clean. And they pretty much look like brand new after you get done. As you can see, the water was originally clear, but once all the chalk paste mixed together, in this case there was a lot of white, which is making it look cloudy. Occasionally I'll miss the squeegee or something, and when I go to dump this out in the sink, it will show up. So I'll hear a plop because I'm like, oh, I had left the squeegee in there. Alright, so that's all I have for tonight, guys. I'll let these sit out to dry and put my backers here so that they're ready to go. Everybody have a great night. If you're interested in any of these or me making you one, or purchasing like the transfer or whatever, just let me know. And I'll post a picture of these too once they're completely dry, so that we don't accidentally stick my fingers in the wet chalk paste, which I have a tendency to do. Why? I don't know. It's one of those things I do. All right, night everybody. Please, if you can, just hit like or comment or say hey. If it's a replay, just do like a little replay. Thanks. Bye.